All right, welcome. Today we're stepping onto the bridge of a massive modern ship to decode its digital heart, a single screen that's basically the vessel's eyes, brain, and nervous system all rolled into one. And to help us make sense of it all, we'll be tapping into the knowledge of a real expert.
And to guide us, we've got insights from Captain Crewvn, a pro who knows these systems like the back of his hand. We're going to use his experience to learn the language of the sea, as told by this incredible piece of technology.
So this screen right here, this is the ECDIS. That stands for Electronic Chart Display and Information System. It's pretty much completely replaced old-school paper charts. Think of it as a super advanced GPS, a radar display, and a route planner all fused together on one dynamic map.
Yeah, at first glance, it just looks like a crazy mess of lines and numbers, right? But believe me, every single symbol and number on there is absolutely critical for staying safe out at sea. So what is it all telling the person in charge? Let's start with the basics, the ship's own vital signs.
Okay, first things first. Before you can even think about what's out there, you have to know exactly what your own ship is doing. And the ECDIS keeps these vitals displayed constantly, right there on the screen. So you've got 5 key pieces of info: your precise position, your speed over ground, or SOG, and your rate of turn. But 2 of these are super important and kind of tricky. Your heading, that's where the front of the ship is pointing, and your course over ground, which is where the ship is actually going. And that brings up a really good question. I mean, why wouldn't the direction you're pointing be the exact same direction you're moving in? It seems obvious, right? Well, at sea, it's not that simple. Understanding this difference is one of the most fundamental skills you can have. Okay, think of it like this. Heading is just where the front of the ship, the bow, is pointing. That info comes from its own internal compass. But course over ground? That's the actual path the ship is carving across the planet, tracked by GPS. It's the true direction the whole thing is moving. So why the difference? Simple, the wind and the current. It's like if you try to walk in a perfectly straight line, but there's a huge gust of wind hitting you from the side. You're still facing forward, but you're actually getting pushed sideways a bit. For a ship, that's what the wind and sea currents do, and the ECDIS shows you that drift perfectly.
All right, so now we know what our own ship is up to, but we're not alone out there, right? The next critical job is to keep an eye on all the other vessels in the area.
You might think the ocean is this huge, empty place, but it can get seriously crowded out there. So how on earth does a navigator use this screen to keep track of dozens, sometimes hundreds, of other vessels and make sure everybody stays safe? Well, it's this constant loop, really, a 4-step dance. First, you detect them using radar and another system called AIS. Then they get displayed on your chart as little targets. Now, here's the cool part. The system then predicts where they're going to go. And based on that prediction, you act to keep a safe distance. And that prediction, it shows up as something called a vector. It's just a line that points out from every other ship on the screen. And that line tells you exactly where that other ship is going to be in, say, the next 6 or 12 minutes. It's literally like a little crystal ball for every ship around you. And, Captain Crewvn puts it perfectly. These vectors are pretty much the most important tool you have for not hitting things. You watch your vectors, you watch their vectors, and you can spot a dangerous situation developing long before it ever becomes an emergency. Okay, so we know where we are, and we know where everyone else is. But what about our actual destination? The ECDIS isn't just for looking around. It's for getting from point A to point B. It works a lot like the GPS in your car, guiding the ship along a route you've already planned out. It's constantly feeding you information, like what's our next waypoint number? How far away is it? And in what direction? How long until we get there? And of course, what's our final estimated time of arrival? It's all about making the journey super precise and efficient. So, we've looked at how the ECDIS tracks our ship, other ships, and our route. But these are all just separate pieces of information, right? The real magic is how a navigator's brain pulls it all together. Every single number, every vector, every line on that screen. It's not just random data. It's all flowing into the navigator's mind to build one single powerful thing. One single unified picture. And getting that picture right, that's the real art of being a navigator. It has a name, of course. It's called situational awareness. The ECDIS is just the tool.
The actual goal is to build this complete mental model in your head, to not just know what's happening right now, but to be able to accurately predict what's about to happen next.
And that kind of leaves us with one last big question. In a world where this technology can see everything and predict the future with amazing accuracy, what's still the most important tool on the bridge? Well, it's the human mind, the navigator's judgment that turns all that incredible data into real wisdom.